Give us also a little bit of an idea where you see this automation and AI and all this is going, right? I have a couple of kids. I really am concerned about their future, and I'm sure a lot of drivers have families. And literally, AI is running our business. I mean, it's pretty much, Uber said it in the last earnings report. They said we use AI heavily from support, right? From support, which is horrible. Chat bots with cut and paste BS, right? Canned messages, which drives a driver crazy, to pricing these trips. And where do you see this going? I mean, should we be scared? Or you talk to all the CEOs, right?
Well, listen, I mean, it's not exactly the same boat, but my ship is in the same ocean as you guys, because I don't know. I'm sure your listeners are familiar that a year ago, around this time, the most advanced text generation started to come out and become the fastest growing consumer tech product of all time in ChatGPT. And I write a newsletter for a living, and now all of a sudden ChatGPT is writing dissertations on various complex tech topics, and I'm like, hey, wait a second, you know, so I sort of feel like every job is going to find some automation and AI start to impact it in real ways, whether that's a writer with ChatGPT, whether that's an Uber driver with AI management and automation, whether that's a graphic designer with things like Dolly and Midjourney. I mean, the list goes on. And I think that, like, by and large, that this technology is always best at taking a lot of the stuff we don't want to do and taking it on itself. And I mean, like, I was speaking with a group of lawyers who introduced AI to their firm. So they have a chatbot called Harvey, and they could basically like ask it questions about documents that it's being fed for discovery. I think I might be overgeneralizing, but that's the general idea. And I said, well, like, so you fired all the paralegals and the junior associates, right? And they're like, you know what, we didn't. Like, we still, we're now able to just take on a little bit more work than we were previously, because, like, instead of spending all that time doing this, work that people that are being paid as much as they are shouldn't be doing, like, combing through tons of irrelevant documents, they get to the more relevant stuff more quickly. And they basically said, you're not familiar with the legal profession, but people went bananas once they put legal books online, because that meant people could start searching the legal books and get to the relevant statutes more quickly, as opposed to having to pull it off the shelf and spend 2 hours in the law library figuring out what laws they were going to rely on and what case precedent. And obviously that has not, led to a diminution of the legal profession. Trust me. There are plenty of lawyers that are working. So I'll just to wrap, I think overall we're going to start to see a lot of these tools that might seem scary at first, ChatGPT, for instance, or even a car driving itself, but ultimately the way that they integrate themselves into our society, while they will cause some, definitely some pain in the short term for some. Overall, we find a way to get ourselves on different work, more interesting work. Or oftentimes what really happens is the big promises, the 10x every year, don't come to fruition. And, we end up doing the work that we were ready to say goodbye to for longer than we anticipated.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. Or we'll all have 1800s again, like my good friend Brian Merchant's book says. We're all going to become Luddites now and rebel against big tech.
Speaking of the Luddites, before I started big technology, I was a tech reporter at BuzzFeed, and that was right around the time when they started rolling robots out in San Francisco, pretty much everywhere you looked. And I just did this series of videos where I would fight the robots, because I was fairly certain that humankind was just going to rebel against this, proliferation of robots everywhere we lived. And we did this one video with Doordash that they wanted to show us that they had these robot delivery bots, and talking about how secure they were, and oh my God, and taking us along. We did this video, and I was like, all right. I was like, so can I try to steal food from your robot? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. It will never open. And I gave it 15 seconds of I mean, I was lifting weights at the time, so I was ready for this fight. And I gave it 15 seconds of little jiggling, and finally ripped it open, and I took the lunch and I ran out. And so we also did one where, they were started to roll out these robotic tackle dummies on a football field. So, we went one-on-one with a tackle dummy, and I was like driving full speed at me, and they're like, "Are you sure this will definitely injure you?" But anyway, sorry. The coda to this is Jimmy Kimmel got a hold of our DoorDash video and showed us like walking across the street with the DoorDash. And then he like superimposed like a bus just driving across the street and hitting the little robot, and it explodes into flames. It was like a little running bit on Jimmy Kimmel for a while. So I guess that was
Yeah,
my one
there's no
impactful piece
shortage
of
of
work at
those.
BuzzFeed. Yeah.
There's no shortage of those videos, right? I mean, we show it all
Oh
the
yeah,
time, and we laugh about it. But these little mini
the
delivery
little robot
robots,
with the ride of his life.
yeah, with the ride of
Yeah.
his life, get somebody taking But so, Alex, I really want to thank you for showing up. I wanted to do this for a long time, and maybe one day I'll show up on your podcast. Who knows? But
That'd be great.
tell us, everything that you do. I mean, the Big Tech, obviously, podcast, CNBC, the book. Just close with that, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the opportunity. Great to be here with you guys. Oh, I mean, it's awesome for me to be able to be here and learn with people who drive, who represent a community of drivers. It's much better to, for me to speak with you guys than to just get it from the top of these companies. So I appreciate the opportunity to be on and to learn from you. So thank you for that. If people are interested in the stuff that I do, you go to Big Technology Podcast in your podcast app of choice. It's on Apple, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Apps, whatever. Big Technology Podcast there. It's twice a week. And then also bigtechnology.com is the website for my newsletter. At least it's the one I'll be writing until ChatGPT comes in and says you're no longer needed here. We just offered this, open up this new premium subscription, but there's also plenty of stuff there for free subscribers. So those are the two places really where folks can find me.
Great to have you on. We'll keep in touch, obviously, and then let's see if Kyle is right about that 10x.
Well, we'll find out next year.
I don't know.
Certainly
Elon has
will.
said a lot of things too, and it's never come necessarily to fruition within the tables that he's given. So he might just try to kind of be copying it.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.